Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome once again to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, the YouTube channel, and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, RingsideNews.com. Got a lot of questions here from spring.me/Aaron Riff. That is the place where you can submit questions. There's no shortage of questions because we have Elimination Chamber coming up. We have the launch of the WWE Network. A lot of things going on in the world of wrestling right now. So let's get down to your questions. First one today from WWE Fan Dark Era. Hey Aaron, since CM Punk kind of paved the way for guys to walk out, who do you see walking out on the company in the near future? I wouldn't be shocked to see Dolph Ziggler or even Damien Sandow leave. Well, I don't see anybody in the near future walking out in the same fashion as CM Punk. You have to keep in mind that CM Punk is a guy who made a lot of money with WWE over the past several years, and it's not like he was a big spender or anything. He is a guy who is believed to be very laid back and isn't a big spender, and he doesn't have to, in all likelihood, wrestle or even work another day in his life if that's what he chooses. And you also have to keep in mind that CM Punk was a top superstar in WWE, a main eventer. Very few people could get away with walking out on the company and then being allowed to come back. And obviously, if CM Punk wants to come back, I think WWE would allow him to come back. And, guys like Dolph Ziggler and Damien Sandow, I don't think that they would have that luxury. They were not at the level of CM Punk, and also, they haven't made the money that CM Punk has made, and, they have to keep working. So, they might be disgruntled, some of these guys in WWE, but, they're best to just keep doing what they're doing. They have to think about their families and their future, but CM Punk is definitely a guy who I'm sure is a hero to some of those guys in the locker room, somebody who will stand up to the authority in real life, not just storyline. I'm sure a lot of people think very highly of CM Punk, and maybe some people are upset that he would walk out just right before Raw began on short notice. But, CM Punk did what he did, and I don't think that we're going to see anything similar to that in the near future. All right, this next one comes from VKRX Skills. Hey Aaron, I noticed WWE made new t-shirts for old stars, and I think there are this year's WWE Hall of Fame. Some shirts include Bam Bam Bigelow, Vader, Honky Tonk Man, Junkyard Dog, and Papa Shango. What do you think about these guys being inducted? Well, I really don't think that has anything to do with guys potentially being inducted into the Hall of Fame. With the WWE Network launching, I think that we're going to see more merchandise come out from legends, past superstars. One good thing about the network is that it will generate more publicity, and it will spread knowledge about these other superstars. It will give them more exposure, and I think it will be good for those past superstars having the exposure through the network. And, I definitely see WWE doing more of the merchandising and trying to capitalize on that. All right, this next one comes from Jazz423. Hey Aaron, just finished watching the 2002 Survivor Series Elimination Chamber match with RVD, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, etc. That was my favorite Elimination Chamber match. Which one would you say is the best? Well, I have to agree with you. I think that the original Elimination Chamber match was the best one. It told the story of Shawn Michaels making his big comeback and finally winning the world title again. It was in Madison Square Garden, so you had the right venue, and you had the big celebration. And, it was just something fresh and new, an Elimination Chamber match, something that had never been done before. There's been so many of them that it has gotten a bit watered down. Besides that one, I really enjoyed the two Elimination Chamber matches at the 2008 No Way Out pay-per-view. I was actually at that in person in Las Vegas, and that was a really good show, and I remember both chamber matches being very entertaining. So those would be, for me personally, my favorites besides the 2002 match. All right, this next one comes from Ricky Lawson. Please answer in video. Hey Aaron, my question is, in your opinion, when was the last truly great WrestleMania? I think it was 20. 20 was one of the better WrestleManias of the past decade. I think I would say WrestleMania 23 was the last above average WrestleMania. You had a strong main event with John Cena and Shawn Michaels. You had Batista versus Undertaker, another very strong match. You had the Battle of the Billionaires with Vince getting his head shaved. You had Money in the Bank. You had a lot of stuff at that WrestleMania that was memorable. So to me, that was the last great one. And, everything else since has been very disappointing. I mean, 24 had the Ric Flair Shawn Michaels match and Undertaker Edge. So, I mean, that was a good WrestleMania. 25 was a one-match show. Most of the WrestleManias from 25 onwards were one-match shows where Undertaker's match stole the show and everything else was mostly forgettable. All right, this next one comes from B Hinder 1. What do you think of TNA's Lockdown pay-per-view? Do you like the concept of all matches being in the cage? Well, on one hand, I think it waters down the stipulation when you have all the matches be in a cage. But on the other hand, it worked for TNA. At least it did a decade ago. When they first came up with the concept, a lot of people were critical of it. But it actually did a strong pay-per-view buy rate by TNA standards. And, it was a mild success for them. So for whatever reason, it did work, and it is something special and something different when you have one night where it's all cage matches. But it can be overkill. You have to be really careful how you book the show, and you don't want to repeat the same things in every single match. So you really have to be creative if you're going to do a show like this where every match is inside a cage. And then that could be a task. But I mean, TNA has pulled off some good lockdown pay-per-views over the years. I remember the 2008 one being really good, and there were several lockdown pay-per-views that were very entertaining. So, it doesn't really matter one way or another. I mean, the people that are going to buy the lockdown pay-per-view are going to buy it regardless of if there's one cage match or if there's 7 or 8 cage matches. All right, this next one comes from Armada88. Hey Aaron, my question is, do you think DLo Brown would have been a bigger star during the Attitude Era if the Draws accident in 1998 never happened? Please answer in video, please. I think that he would have been a star for a longer period of time. I don't think he would have been, at an Austin or Rock level or even close to that, but I definitely think that the Draws accident, almost, I'd say pretty much ruined his WWE career because, after that happened, his push was essentially dropped and he never really recovered from it. He was just a lower card guy after that. So I think that if that didn't happen, he would have gone on and been a solid mid-carder for several more years, and then he would have slowly fizzled out. But it was very unfortunate what happened, and it just sucks that DLo essentially got punished for it when accidents happen, and it could have happened to anybody, the victim and the person who delivered the move. All right, that'll do it for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it on Facebook or Twitter. Spread the word about NoDQ&A video. YouTube.com/NoDQCAW. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the latest regarding Elimination Chamber. And before I go here, I have one final question from Wrestling Sheer. Hey Aaron, do you think WWE punishments are too harsh? Guys like Dolph Ziggler, Triple H, Ryback, Drew McIntyre, Miz, and many more have gone from basically main event status to jobbers. Look at Drew McIntyre. He went from being the chosen one to a member of 3MB. Well, it's funny you mentioned Triple H, and I'm guessing you're going back to when the whole curtain call thing went down. And that was a legitimate punishment because he broke kayfabe and went out there, and WWE felt they had to punish somebody for that. So, he was the guy that took the fall because Shawn was the champion and Razor and Diesel were going to WCW. But regarding the current guys on the roster, I mean, it's just a situation where WWE pushes a guy and then quickly gives up on them. And that's one of the problems with WWE being the only big game in town. There's so many guys that want to be in WWE, but there's only a limited number of spots, and obviously there's only a few main event spots. So WWE will, give a guy a push and maybe put him in a semi-main event level, and then if it doesn't work after 2 weeks, WWE moves on to the next guy, and that's just how they operate. And realistically, I don't see things changing in that regard. I think it's going to be more the same, unless they have a hand-picked, chosen one from the get-go that they feel is going to be a main eventer, and they're going to slowly build up that guy. And you can tell with somebody like Roman Reigns, he is a guy that they are really high on. They've been high on him since the beginning, and they're slowly building him up. The problem is that guys like Ryback, they pushed really quickly and gave up on him right away. And Ryback was also a victim of just bad booking on WWE's part, and they booked themselves into a corner with that Hell in a Cell match. And Dolph Ziggler, the concussions played a factor in him losing his push. And Drew McIntyre, also a personal issue. The stuff that was going on with him and his wife. I mean, that was one of the things that killed his push. And Miz was a guy who should have been given a better opportunity, and he was in the main event at WrestleMania, but then they had The Rock come in, and the focus went to Rock and Cena, and he was also a victim of bad booking. When you look at the Survivor Series pay-per-view, how they handled Miz and R-Truth, booking them like jokes, and then the pay-per-view buy rate was disappointing, and Miz and R-Truth got the blame. So WWE's booking definitely has a lot to do with guys losing their push or not getting over as much as WWE wants them to get over. So that'll do it for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time for more.